Hello and welcome. I'm Amelia from Leader Logic. Today we're going to talk about one of the tips that I have for young professionals, and it's inspired by a lot of the things that I wish I'd have known when I was graduating university, going into my first job. So today's topic is all about being prepared to continuously learn. Some people call it continuous improvement. Some people just call it being open to new ideas. But the key is to realize that even though you've graduated, you've got your piece of paper, you've got your new job, your new desk, rah, 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 you don't know everything and you're never going to know everything. You could be sitting next to someone with 30 years experience and they don't know everything either. The key to staying fresh and relevant is to being prepared to continually learn. One of the reasons why you need to be prepared to keep on learning throughout your career is because technology isn't static. Things are always changing. If you're working in an engineering field and you're dealing with certain technologies to achieve a certain outcome, you can guarantee that in 10 years' time there'll be different products on the market. They'll be more power efficient, or they'll produce less noise. They might reduce the amount of human interaction needed. I mean, just think of electric cars. The only way to stay at the top of your game and to be really useful to your clients or useful to your supervisors, whoever's paying you to do design work, is to stay on top of what these developments are. And not only the developments in your industry, because that might be quite a small pool of things to keep an eye on, but also changes that are happening in other industries where you can then take those ideas, bring them back to your industry, and be responsible for the next leap forward. The next point I want to make is that you're always going to work in teams with lots of different people who have lots of different skills different to you. So you might have done really well at university. You might be a really good whatever type of engineer you are, or whether you're a project manager, you might be a really good project manager, maybe a finance person. But the thing is that you're dealing with a lot of people who are also really good at their speciality, but unless you find a common ground with these other people, you're never really going to be able to have those productive discussions with them and really get the best for project outcomes. So what you want to do is be able to understand where they're coming from, start learning what's important to them. Not necessarily all the technical ins and outs, but if you're talking to people who deal with electricity and control, make sure you understand the basic language that they're using, understand what the key pieces of equipment are and what the issues are that they most often bring up in meetings, and try to understand what those are, just so that you can anticipate their feedback on future projects and they really feel like they're being heard. The same goes for people in either procurement and commercial services, contracts, that type of area, or maybe community engagement, or maybe finance or leadership. Again, they're groups of people with specific skills that you don't get in whatever degree it is that you've studied. And so you do need to take it upon yourself to understand more of where they're coming from so that you can meet them halfway. The first 2 points were both about dealing with technical issues and understanding technical challenges. But what about the soft skills? You don't learn very many of the soft skills in university, but people are complicated and you need to understand how to, first of all, that there are different types of people out there that appreciate being communicated to in different ways. And you also find that people are motivated by different things as well. Some people love a good paycheck, some people like rewards, some people like just public thanks for the work that they do. Some people like to fly underneath the radar and just get satisfaction from working towards the greater good. That's something else that you'll need to study in your own time. Not necessarily study with a book, it might be just observing or talking to other people, understanding what works for them and what doesn't, what situations they encounter and how they dealt with them. But yeah, it's, again, you need to be open to the fact that that's something that you will need to work on continuously through your career as you encounter different types of people. And you need to be prepared to learn how to optimize your relationships with other people. Now, there are lots of ways to learn these skills. You can look it up in books, you can do training sessions, you can talk to other people or develop mentorship relationships. So I'm going to do a separate episode on different training sources and how to pursue them and how to convince people in your business that they might be worth undertaking. So tune into that episode. When I do put it up, I'll come back to this video and make a link to it so that you should see it on the screen somewhere. But the message for this video is really to have your eyes open for opportunities to learn. They're always popping up. See what kind of value they might have for you, either to complete your current role or to put yourself in a position where you can then move on to your next role. One of the opportunities that might come up while you're at work is a restructure, or you might have a large project that's being delivered via a specific mechanism that isn't business as usual. There might be a special project team set up for it. Now, that kind of project team environment, or a merger between two companies, a takeover, a restructure of your current organization, those also offer opportunities to learn. So be prepared to keep your eyes open for opportunities that come up in those situations where you might not know 100% of how to do the role, but you're probably in a better position to take the role and learn the things that you're missing than someone who's coming from outside of the organization in. If you do take on a role like that, you need to be prepared to, not know everything about that role when you go in. Be prepared to ramp up your knowledge, do a lot of background reading, try and understand the background and the information that people have put in front of you. Try and learn that as fast as you can so that then you're in a position to ask educated questions and fill in the little gaps that are left in your knowledge, rather than spending a few weeks floundering around not knowing what you don't know. Another way that you can learn quite passively is just by observing how the people that you work with day to day behave in different situations. So how they get the best out of people in meetings, how they give feedback to other people in your team, how they word their emails and get you to do what they're asking, what they do that makes you not want to do what they're asking. Look at how people approach you and ask you for assistance. Look at how management talks to the company. Those are all valuable learning opportunities if you just keep your eyes open and observe how different people get their job done, and be prepared to be a little bit of a bowerbird and take little skills that you see from all different places, because all of those different inputs are ultimately going to make you into the professional that you will become. So I've unplugged the camera and I'm doing the editing, and I just realized there was something else. There were a few other points that I wanted to make on this video about continuous learning, and that was that, to give you some examples of the things that I'm actively trying to learn at the moment. So this is 2018. One thing is that I'm trying to improve my finances. So I've started investing using an app called Acorns. I'll put a link in the description below, but basically, what it is it's a way to start investing in shares when you've only got little bits of cash. Like I throw in $20 at a time whenever I'm standing in a queue, or when I've just got some time to check out how the account's doing. It's an interesting little project, and what it's done is it's made me a lot more interested in the stock market as well. So now I'm reading a biography on Warren Buffett, so I can learn, who is this guy, what he's about, and by reading that biography, then it was describing the 1987 stock market crash, which was really interesting because the ASX, so that's the Australian Stock Exchange that is used to adjust the prices in the Australian Acorns app, that crashed. And so I saw, my new savings go down by $7, and I was like, oh, that's just what Warren Buffett dealt with in the 1987 crash. Only he lost millions. I lost $7. So the scale is different, but by learning new things, you suddenly become, more and more invested in the things that are going on around you. Another thing I'm trying to learn is how to edit videos and how to build a YouTube channel. So yeah, I'm doing lots of watching of other videos. I'm trying to, improve how I engage with my audience, how to actually find out who my audience is, and so analyzing, Google Analytics and that type of thing. And then the other thing that I am trying to learn this year, it was actually inspired by some of the other, popular YouTube videos that I'm coming across, which is how to take better notes. And so, a lot of the channels that are out there are aimed at high school students who want to study and revise the material that they're covering in class so that they remember it better. But I'm actually finding I'm using some of those same techniques to take minutes in meetings and so for example, this morning I went for a breakfast and watched our CEO present a whole bunch of projects and our philosophies on planning, into the future, and drought response and a lot of different topics like that. And I actually took 2 pages of notes. I think I was the only person in a room of, say, 30 tables that was sitting there with a notebook taking notes. But as a result, I've now got all of the numbers that he quoted to the industry, and I know what's public knowledge and what's not. But then, because of the way I took the notes and the way I've started going back and highlighting and making the pages a bit more readable at the end of the day, and pulling out key details, I'm actually going to remember that information a lot better tomorrow, because in effect I've studied it the way a high school student would study a history class. So yeah, between those 3 things, learning about finances, learning about YouTube, and learning about study techniques, I'm actually, keeping my mind very busy and improving my work, even though none of the stuff that I'm actually studying has got to do with the project work that I'm doing. So just food for thought, and one of the reasons why I wanted to film this episode, but then I forgot completely to talk about it when I actually sat down. So there you go, I'll cut this into the video. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it useful. Let us know in the comments below if there are any other learning opportunities that you've come across or taken advantage of in your workplace. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it. Hit subscribe if you want to see some more of the episodes in this series as I roll them out. Don't forget to tune in next week for more tips and tricks on how to build your career.